So how can you be part of that 1%? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 key words that will dramatically increase your chances of having a lucid dream. And in fact, if you use these words today, can even make you lucid dream as early as tonight. And it comes down to a principle that actually I used to give me my first ever lucid dream. So it's very powerful, it's important, and it works. And I say it's important because the way that I see lucid dreaming is different from a lot of people. You know, a lot of times people are trying to hack their dreams in the middle of the night to give them a lucid dream. And while a lot of these techniques can and do work, and I'm sure you maybe had some success with them, for the majority of us, for the majority of time, it's not the case. Like, you think about your lucid dreaming journey so far, has it been as smooth as you expected? And why is this? Well, it comes down to like a lost and forgotten art to lucid dreaming. You know, because what if there was a way that even on those nights when you were lying in bed, doing some crazy ass lucid dreaming technique, waking up at 3 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m, doing whatever you're doing, what if on that night when that lucid dreaming technique fails, if you were still able to have a lucid dream? And what if on the nights where you don't even do a lucid dreaming technique, you're still able to have lucid dreams? Well, there is a way, and that is what this video is about. And you may have heard of techniques leveraging these 5 words, but the problem is most people are using it wrong or in a less than optimal way. So let me explain. By the way, this is Joshua Andre, and I'm here to remind you who you truly are, so that ultimately you can live your best, most optimal destiny path in this lifetime and beyond. So what are these 5 words? Well, it's very simple. The 5 words are, when I blank, I will remember blank. Now, before you click off thinking I've heard this before, let me explain what most people are doing wrong and what you need to be doing instead. You see, what most people are doing is they will think of, for example, something that generally happens in a dream that will not necessarily happen in this reality. For example, it might be the case where you dream about an ex that you used to go out with that you haven't seen in years, but you dream about them, so you're like, oh, I don't see them anymore in this reality, in waking consciousness, waking reality. So whenever I see them, it must be a dream. So you say, whenever I see my ex, I will know that I'm dreaming, or I will remember that I'm dreaming. Or it could be things like a passed away relative or a teacher that you haven't seen in years. And so the theory is, when you see that thing or that person in the dream, it triggers you and you be like, oh, this is a dream, and you become lucid. Well, yes, this can work. But if you're anything like me, that freaking shiz did not work the way that they told me it would work. Like, don't get me wrong, it can work, but oftentimes the chances are low. And why is it low? Is because there's a missing piece that most people overlook. You see, this thing relies on something called your prospective memory. And all your prospective memory is the ability to remember to perform a planned action in the future. So for example, let's say you're driving along on some freeway, some highway in a city that you're not familiar with. You look down at your dashboard and you see, hey, my fuel is low. Not low enough for you to go on Google Maps, type in gas stations, fuel stations near me, but low enough for you to say to yourself, okay, when I next see a gas station or a fuel station, I'll stop and get some fuel. So that all sounds plain and simple, okay? You think, okay, I want to do something. When you see that thing, you do it. But the problem is in this reality, that kind of works relatively smooth. Like 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, it will work. Obviously, there's some times when you say, I'm going to do this, you forget to do it, like, fudge, why didn't I not do that? Then you have to do it, like, go back to do that thing. But 8, 9 times out of 10, you will remember. But in a dream, the reason why it doesn't work as smoothly is because, remember how we said this comes down to your prospective memory. Your prospective memory relies on multiple areas of the brain. However, one of these areas that it relies on when you're in a dream is basically switched off, is in like low level activity. Your prefrontal cortex is in low level activity. So I don't want to overcomplicate this video. However, the key point to take away from this is that your prospective memory requires many areas of the brain. One of those areas is reduced in activity, is almost basically shut off. So that's why doing these sort of things doesn't always work as smoothly as you would expect. But what if there was a way to train all parts of the brain that your prospective memory requires, so that even when that prefrontal cortex has low activity and is basically switched off, because these other areas are heightened, it increases your chances of lucid dreaming, whether you do a lucid dreaming technique or not. Well, how? Very simple. Instead of us doing something and saying something like, whenever I see X, or like, whenever I see my ex, I will remember that I'm dreaming. Notice how this is requiring a lot of action in the dream space. Instead of focusing on doing something in the dream space, we're going to do something in the waking state to train these areas of the brain for this higher likelihood of lucid dreaming. And this is why I said, like, it's like a forgotten art, a lost art, because a lot of the times we can get stuck in these like quick wins, these quick things like, how can I do this technique today to lucid dream? But if you just build this technique within yourself, it's the case where whether you do a technique or not, your ability to lucid dream just happens naturally. It's what I was talking about in my frequent lucid dreaming formula. So how do we heighten these areas of the brain? Well, it all comes down to 3 key things. The first one, you're going to pick a situation, experience, or encounter that is going to happen within the next 10 minutes to 1 hour. So for example, it might be that you're going to go to the kitchen, or it might be that you're going to speak to your girlfriend, or it might be that you're going to leave the house, or it might be that you're going to be starting some new work, or it might be that you're going to go to the toilet, or it might be that you're going to start reading something or turn the TV on. It can literally be anything. Eat some food, whatever. What you choose doesn't really matter, as long as it's within the next 10 minutes to 1 hour. So for example, if I'm thinking for myself right now, I'm recording this video. I know within the next 10 minutes to an hour, I'm going to finish this video. That is my reference point. When I finish this video, I'm going to do something. And in fact, let's do this together, right? So you don't have to any overcomplications here. Let's pick something right now. In a moment, once I explain these points, I'm going to do a section in this video that I'm going to call final points. So when I get to the final points section of this video, that is your reference. That is when you're going to do something. What you're going to do, don't worry, I'm going to explain in a moment. Just know, we're going to do this together. When you get to the final point section of this video, you will do the next part. And this will be kind of cool because it will actually test your prospective memory, right? It will be your first action of doing this. So I'm not going to tell you when we get to the final points. I'm not going to be like, hey, this is the moment, you need to do the thing now. I'm just going to say, okay, this is the final point section of the video. So in this, and then I'm going to carry on, whatever I say there, it's going to flow out. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to say yet, but it's going to come out. So just know, your next reference point is not going to the toilet, it's not speaking to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or anyone like that. Your next reference point is when Joshua Andre gets to the final point section of this video. Like the video if you are committing to this and you are going to try this. And then we can check in the comments the difference between who actually did it and who didn't. So now your question will be, okay, I've got my reference point. Let's say, for example, it's going to the kitchen, or it's doing something else, or it's whatever your reference point is. Now, what do I do? Well, actually, what you pick doesn't even matter. Because let's say, for example, you say, okay, when I go to the kitchen, I'm going to put the kettle on. Or when I go to the kitchen, I'm going to fill up a glass of water. Actually, what you do doesn't matter. What matters is that you remember to do it. You know what I mean? So you can literally pick anything. But what I'm going to share with you in this video is 3 things that you can actually do. I recommend doing at least 2 of them at a time. You can do 3, but you don't have to do 3. You can just do 2 of them and switch it around. The reason why I do these 3 things, or 2 of these 3 things, is purely and simply down to the fact that not only will this train your perspective memory in this reality, making it stronger for when you're in the dream state, but also you're going to be training your conscious awareness in the dream, and not only that, to actually lucid dream. So the first thing that you can do is when I go to the kitchen, when I leave the house, when I start driving, I will remember this is a dream. Now, I spoke about this in my other video, and sometimes people say, the question like, is this a dream? Then they ask, is this a dream? They look around, they do a reality check or something, then they realize this is not a dream. But what I used to find for me is that I used to train my mind to get accustomed to not being in a dream. So then it would kind of have an effect in my dreams and not allow me to lucid dream. This is from my experience. So what I do instead is I just tell myself this is a dream. So wherever I am, like right now, I'll say this is a dream. And what I'll do, note this down, is I'll take a deep inhale and exhale. And I'll just start to scan the room. And when you do this, it's crazy. If you do this right, you'll know. If you don't do this right, you'll just say this is a dream and nothing will really change. You're kind of just saying it in your mind. It's like this is a dream, but you carry on doing what you're doing. You have to actually say this is a dream and feel like what it feels like as if this was a dream. Imagine, if you've had a lucid dream before, you'll know what this feels like. It's that feeling of when you're in a dream, everything seems normal, then suddenly something happens and you're like, this is a dream. Then you feel that feeling of excitement, of wonder, of oh my gosh, this whole thing that I thought was real is just a dream. That's the feeling that I want you to bring when you say this is a dream. It's not just, you're not just sitting there saying, okay, when I go to the kitchen, then you go to the kitchen, you say this is a dream, then you carry on. No, it's more to that. So you get to the kitchen, for example, you say this is a dream, you take a deep inhale, exhale, you start to scan the room, you start to bring your awareness more heightened, instead of your vision being at the front of your eyes, imagine you take a step back, now you can see everything more clearly. What will happen if you do this correctly, you'll feel that feeling of this is a dream, that kind of excitement, but also you'll start to see different things in the room that have always been there, but you never really paid attention to. Notice, this is the sort of awareness that we want, that we need to develop, right? When I say this lost and forgotten art to lucid dreaming, this is the sort of thing that we need to develop to increase our chances of lucid dreaming, regardless of whether we do a technique or not. Is this making sense? So that's the first one. You say this is a dream, you take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, you look around, scan the room, you analyze it as if it was a dream, you feel that kind of excitement, and then you can move on to the next thing. So the second thing that you can do as well, generally I do that this is a dream and this second thing together. And the second thing is just a simple reality check. Just pick your most favorite reality checks and do at least two. So you walk into the kitchen, you say this is a dream, you scan the room, you do your one or two reality checks, and then that's it. Then you move on to the next point. But before I get to the next point, the third thing that you can also do, and this is a cool one. This one's cool because it doesn't just increase your perspective memory, like your perspective memory training. It also is really good for your conscious timeline recall. And very simply, that's just recalling what's happening in your timeline. This is very good for when you're in the dream space. So what you'll do, you can walk into the kitchen and then you'll say, I will remember what I was doing before this. So you recall your steps back as to what you was actually doing before you got to the kitchen. So you're like, okay, I was in the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen now. I was actually just came from the living room. I was just working. I was just scrolling Instagram. I was just recall a bit of your timeline. And you'll feel that this might feel a bit tricky at first because you're kind of using a part of your brain that you hardly ever use. You know, like we're always looking to the future, forward thinking. Yes, you may think about the past, but you never really recall your steps going backwards. So it's actually a very powerful thing to do. But what I would do is I would just switch between these three. So you can do that this is a dream and a reality check. Or you could do what I was doing before and a reality check. Or you could do this is a dream and what I was doing before. You could do all three of them. This is a dream, some reality checks, and what I was doing before. Obviously, the more that you do, the more time that you spend, the more that you're developing this, right? But I don't want this to be in the way where like every 1 hour or 10 minutes, you're having to stop for like 10 minutes doing something. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it too difficult for yourself. Make it in a way where you're going to consistently flow through this, because the more consistent you are with this, the more likely you are to have these lucid dreams. So these are the three things that you can do. So to summarize the first 2 points, you say, for example, when I get to the final points part of this video, I will remember to pause the video, say this is a dream, and reality check. So this is how we bring it together. Now, once you do that, so once you reach that point, let's say it's the kitchen, let's say it's going to work, let's say it's driving, and you do that thing. Now, what comes next? Well, the third and final point to this is go back to step one. You go back to step one and you pick the next situation, experience, or encounter that's going to happen in the next 10 minutes to 1 hour. And you repeat this over and over and over again until you go to sleep tonight. So you are in control. You choose if it's something that's going to happen roughly in 10 minutes, 1 hour, you choose. And that is it. Those three things, those first two things, and then use the third one to cycle back through and keep doing this until you're about to go into your dream state, aka sleeping. So, final points of this video. And by the way, if you're getting any value from this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you want more videos like this popping up on your feed, you know what to do. So the first final point is, how often should you do this? Well, you do this literally from now till you go to bed. Ideally, it will be from morning till night, because then you get a whole day of it. But the cool thing about this technique is you are controlling it. Like, you control the pace. It's not a case where every 10 minutes you got to set an alarm, or every hour you set. No, you just think it's engaging your brain. Not really, because you know, I used to have this thing. I used to have different apps and different alarms. But you know what it's like. If you've ever had a lucid dreaming like alarm, like for the first day or two, it's like it's engaging. It keeps you going. After like a few days, your brain gets used to the alarm. It's like alarm goes off, turn it off, you carry on. It's like you could have 50 alarms going off in the day, but you're not engaging the brain. It's just, okay, it's alarm. Okay, am I dreaming? Boom, you get back to what you're doing. What we're doing now is engaging your brain. Now you're thinking, what's coming up in my day? You're going to select that as your reference point. Once you select that, you're going to do it. Then the cool thing about this is, the reality is, you're going to get at least 8 to 20 opportunities minimum, throughout your day, depending on how often you do this, to not only keep doing your reality checks, but actively engaging with them, but also building your prospective memory muscle so that it works in a more heightened state in your dream. And then obviously when you're going just before bed, you can even use this technique and say, okay, when I'm dreaming, I will remember to become lucid. Or you could select the other option of, when I see the dream sign, whatever we spoke about earlier, whether it's X, uncle, whatever, some dream sign, I'll become lucid. Then you're practicing not just in this waking state, but leveraging it in the nighttime. Not like what most people are doing and just doing it at nighttime and not developing in this waking state. And also what you'll find is, the cool thing is, from the frequent lucid dreaming formula that I recorded, this is helping with point 2 and 3 from the formula. Like, this is building that skill. Now remember, this is long-term thinking. This is not just a quick win. Hopefully I can get a lucid dream tonight and it works. This is, okay, it can work tonight, but I'm going to be building this to get more frequent lucid dreams as the days go on, as the weeks go on, as the months and years go on. And you've probably spent countless months or years wanting this to happen so frequently. Like, why not give yourself this time in the day to build it? You know what I mean? Obviously though, this is not really going to be developing point one of the formula, but point one of the formula is kind of like a one-time thing. You do that once and it amplifies the formula. If you haven't watched that video, make sure to check it out after this video. Next point. Now you might ask, what if I miss one of the opportunities in the day? Like let's say for example, I set it that, okay, when I go to the bathroom, I will remember to do a reality check and say this is a dream. But then you go to the bathroom, you do your thing, then you leave, and then you've forgotten it. So what do we do now? Well, there's two scenarios. Two, not three, two. Two scenarios. Scenario one is that you missed that opportunity, but you're still in the house. Now treat that as your next one. So it's like an open loop. Like you didn't complete that. It's like a game. Like you put that checklist on, but you didn't tick the checklist. So it's still there. So scenario one is that you're still in the house or wherever that bathroom is, and you just set it. Okay, that's my next one. Note, do not, I repeat, do not say, okay, I missed the bathroom one, so let me just walk to the back to the bathroom now and do it. That is not training the muscle, right? That's you remembering late and going back there and doing it. What we want to do is still train it. So we say, okay, in the next 10 minutes to 1 hour, I'm sure I'm going to go back to the bathroom or something like that. So I will do it then. So it's your next thing to do. Scenario two, however, is that maybe you set the bathroom thing, you went to the bathroom, did your business, came back out, but then now, did your business. When I was saying did your business, I wasn't thinking of like you sitting on the toilet doing crap. I was thinking of like just getting ready. But anyway, did your business. And then once you do your business, you come out and now you leave the house. Maybe you go to work or some other place. Now obviously is the case where you might be 5 hours, 8 hours before you're back in that bathroom. So now if you wait for that to be your next one, you're going to go 5 hours, 8 hours without training this perspective memory in this period that we're going to be doing it. So my recommendation in that case is it is still something that you put on your checklist that haven't ticked off. So it's on your mind. When you get back home, that's going to be there. But in the meantime, set new ones. So when you're out, okay, let's say you're working, okay, when I get into the office or when I start my work or when I finish my day, you know what I mean? Like you'll set new ones, but when you get back home, that's still on your checklist to do. I'm pointing to the bathroom. In case you're wondering where the fudge is Joshua pointing, the bathroom is that way, in case you ever wanted to know. But anyway, that is the key differentiator. If you can do it with the next 10 minutes to 1 hour, do it. Don't go out your way to do it. Set it for your perspective memory to be trained. If you are leaving the place, then obviously it's still there and you do it once you are back to the place. Now, another point is, okay, how long might we want to do this for? Well, my recommendation to you is do this for 7 days. Literally just stay consistent to this for 7 days. You do this for 7 days consistently, like actually consistently, actually properly. Don't come to the comments and say, yeah, I tried it. You know, okay, this is the reality. There's going to be 3 types of people on this video. Let me know which one you are going to be. This type of person number one. Person number one is the person who is going to do this literally today, maybe do it once, maybe do it twice, maybe do it a few times, and literally have their next lucid dream tonight. Super. I wish that for you. And it would be amazing if it happens like that. Scenario number two, person number two, is that they will try it maybe one time today, maybe a couple times. They won't have a lucid dream tonight, and then they'll say, oh, this doesn't work. I'm purposefully not editing this out. I am literally looking you in the eyes. I told you here and now, this is a thing that you are building, you are developing. Just like going to the gym, you need to train this. If you train this every day consistently for at least 7 days, you will have a lucid dream. If you don't do this properly for yourself, and like, let's say one of the days you kind of miss some stuff or you forget to do it, then reset the 7 days. Don't come back to this video after 1 day saying, oh, it didn't work, it doesn't work. You got a 7-day window. If you do it consistently for 7 days, it will work. Scenario and person number 3 is that maybe they do it once a day, maybe they do it a couple of times a day, maybe they do it a few times a day, maybe they do it for the full day, but they don't have a lucid dream straight away tonight. But they do it a 2nd day consistently, a 3rd day consistently, a 4th day consistently, and what do you know it? Lucid dream happens. Then come back to the comments, let me know how it was. So I don't want any person number 2s, only person number 1 or person number 3s. Come back to the comments, let me know. Stay consistent to this. It will work if you do this, right? It's gonna be, you watch the frequent lucid dreaming video, right? You will see why this is so effective, because it literally is helping point number 2, point number 3 of that formula develop every single day. Now, final thing that I can think of is some people might ask, like, isn't this superstitious, Joss? Like, you're telling me I need to do this to lucid dream? This is not superstitious, right? I'm not saying that you need to do this in order to lucid dream. I'm not saying that if you don't do this, you will never have lucid dreams. I'm just saying that there is something in your brain that you can develop to have more frequent lucid dreams. So treat this like a game. Treat this like a game where, you know what, it's cool. Every day I get to train my perspective memory. I get to train this thing, which will increase my chances of lucid dreaming. And it's not even just lucid dreaming. This is helping in every area of your life. If you have better memory, better recall, is that just going to help your dreams? It's going to help everything. So treat it like a game. This is not superstitious. This is not Joshua Andre saying you cannot lucid dream if you don't do this. This is me simply saying if you do this, you dedicate this time to yourself, you will have more frequent lucid dreams. Now, I finished the final points. I have a question for you. Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you make it? Did you get to the final point section and realize, shiz, Joshua said final points. It's time for me to check. Pause this video, check this as a dream, and do a reality check or anything else that you wanted to do. Did you do it? Let me know in the comments if you did it, if you managed to do it. If you didn't, then I don't know what to do with you, man. I genuinely don't know. Like I told you that it's like something on your checklist that needs to be checked. I mean, you'll figure it out. Maybe go back to the start of this video, rewatch it again, and when you get to that point, you ain't gonna be tricked. You ain't gonna miss it. So whatever you decide, whether you did manage to make it, and at the final points you did it, your prospective memory worked, let me know in the comments. If it didn't work, still let me know in the comments. Let me know who you are. Let me know what you found, what you realized about yourself. Now, obviously, if you combine this with increasing your dream recall, improving your recall of whether you was lucid dreaming, whether you was dreaming, writing things down, all that sort of stuff, it will increase your chances even more. If you are struggling to increase your dream recall, make sure to check this video out now. And if you've already seen that video, here is a video that your higher self is recommending you watch through the YouTube algorithm. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Much love. Subscribe if you want more of these videos on your feed, and I'll see you in the next one.